Hi, my name is Mercy Juarez and I'm a PCT student.
My name is Emily Tran.
Hi, I'm Roisin Kelley, and I'm going to be talking to you about Everett Sinclair and some lab documentation methods. So, first, the FDAR note was designed around specific patient interactions. So, it's a more concise note that highlights four main categories. First, we have F, which is the central focus of the patient's care or whatever interaction. Then, you have D, which includes data collected during their assessment or, again, that interaction. Then you have A, the action that was taken during your event with the patient. And then R, which is the response received from the patient at that time. Next, you have the narrative nursing note, which provides a more detailed, comprehensive story of the patient and your interaction with them in a paragraph form. So they're much broader and they provide for more flexibility in documentation, and they're also often used in combination with other documentation methods. Next, we have electronic health records, which are the most widely used documentation method currently. So, EHRs are digital systems for patient information storage, and they have significantly reduced the effect of communication gaps in healthcare since they are now standardized. They also promote efficiency in obtaining patient information since many of the records have notifications when patient information is left out. So here's an example of the FDAR note. So for the focus, the patient care technician and nurse had taken his vitals and injected him with Lovenox. And then for D, we have data regarding his condition prior to their interaction, like upon admission, and then also during his assessment. So that includes any observations that they made of him physically, emotionally, and then we have his medical history and then the treatments that he's currently on, as well as his vital signs that were taken at that point in time. And then the action shows that the treatment, what treatment was administered right there. So the nurse injected him with Lovenox and then also injected his insulin. And then also it shows that he was given oxygen, and then any actions the PCT took to make the nurse aware of any treatment that needed to be given or assessment. And then the response from the patient was that the patient appeared slightly relieved after the 30 minutes from their visit. So the narrative chart is a lot more comprehensive, and then it tells the story of the patient and their interaction with the healthcare team in the form of a story. The issue with narrative charting is that there's no standardized rubric as far as what needs to be included in the document, which can pose a lot of problems for the healthcare team legally.
So now let's review EHRs. EHRs are electronic health records that have transformed the way healthcare professionals document and access patient information. By replacing paper charts with digital systems, EHRs allow real-time, coordinated care across departments. Their key advantage is accessibility, where authorized staff from various units can simultaneously review a patient's chart, improving communication and decision-making. EHRs enhance accuracy by using structured data fields that reduce vague or incomplete documentation, while efficiency is boosted through templates, checklists, drop-down menus, autosaves, and time-stamped entries. One of the most powerful features is integration. EHRs combine lab results, medications, vital signs, imaging, and progress notes into a single centralized interface. However, EHRs are not without challenges. Many providers face a steep learning curve that requires training and adjustment, while technical issues like downtime or glitches can disrupt workflow. Additionally, data overload can occur when documentation becomes excessive or redundant. Despite these challenges, modern EHRs offer a crucial balance between structure and flexibility. Systems today allow for both standardized charting tools like FDAR and open narrative sections for more complex observations. This hybrid approach ensures documentation is not only organized, but also detailed and personalized when needed. If we take a look here, we'll see a mock EHR from Mr. Everett Sinclair, where we see his problems on the forefront of this EHR, as well as his allergies, his recent vitals, his other history that might be relevant in making his plan of care, his medications that he's currently being administered, and medications that he takes at home, as well as our encounters with him today and the scheduled ones. We can also see today's progress notes on what has happened in his current state of health, and then we can also put in a new encounter. Now that we've talked about the different types of documentation, let's compare them. Each of these tools has its own strengths, weaknesses, and best use cases depending on the clinical setting and patient scenario. Starting with FDAR, this method is highly structured. It's broken into 4 parts. Because of its problem-focused format, it helps ensure clarity and consistency in documentation, making it easier for other team members to follow what's been done and why. It's particularly efficient for common issues like pain, wounds, or routine care, and it saves time because it eliminates unnecessary narrative. However, its main drawback is that it doesn't always work well for complex cases that require context or a holistic view of the patient's condition. In contrast, narrative charting offers complete flexibility. Nurses can describe everything they see, hear, and do in story form, allowing for a rich contextual understanding of the patient's experience. This method is especially useful in long-term care, behavioral health, or hospice, where emotional and situational details matter. However, it's very time-consuming and inconsistent between providers. It also runs the risk of becoming too long or unclear, especially if the writer isn't careful with organization and relevance. Now moving on to EHRs, which combine the best of both worlds, structure and flexibility. EHRs standardize many parts of documentation through templates and dropdowns, but they also allow space for narrative input. They're the most efficient option in terms of speed and accessibility, offering instant access to lab results, medications, and other data. They also offer built-in safety features like timestamping, autosave, and legal audit trails. On the downside, they require proper training and sometimes can lead to excessive, irrelevant information. When you compare all 3 sides, a few trends become clear. FDAR and EHRs are more structured and consistent, while narrative charting is more descriptive but harder to standardize.
Okay, so now we're going to be discussing documentation methods and how all 3 of them work together. So all 3 of these methods can work together to give care team members the most accurate and detailed information about a specific patient. So our FDAR method is patient-specific and notes both objective and subjective observations that may or may not be mentioned in the 2 other methods. The narrative is broader and it allows for more flexibility from the author to tell a more detailed story. It can be used to elaborate on the bigger picture of what's going on with the patient. More information than what's typically included in FDAR, which allows for us to understand the case as a whole. EHR allows for the standardization of medical records that can make patient information clear. This method can be used in conjunction with both the FDAR and narrative methods. So each method has its advantages and disadvantages, which is why using all 3 methods is useful and helps provide a range of patient documentation. FDAR allows you to focus on smaller issues, like we said, while narrative reporting can be used to explain a bigger story, a broader understanding of what's going on. In addition to these 2 methods, the EHR can be used to standardize the information and provide a clear summary of patient information for the patient's care team. So for example, physical therapists with their primary care physician, they can share the information securely through an EHR. EHR is also helpful in tracking who access patient information and when, which allows it to enhance patient privacy and ensures legal accountability. So which method do we believe is the best? We chose EHR, and these are 3 reasons why. EHR allows for quick access to patient records, and this helps give more coordinated and efficient care processes. And EHR also promotes legible, complete, and accurate documentation. Since these are electronic records, obviously they're going to be more legible since they're typed out. EHR also enhances patient privacy and security and provides secure electronic sharing with patients or care providers. So patients who want to access their medical records, they'll have access through it electronically. Or like I said, other care providers, for example, if you have a primary care and then a specialist, and they can share that information.
In conclusion, our case study of Mr. Everett Sinclair, a patient admitted with chest pain and a complex medical history, helped demonstrate the value and application of multiple documentation methods in a real clinical setting. We explored 3 primary tools: FDAR, narrative charting, and electronic health records. Each method has unique strengths. FDAR offers structure and focus, narrative charting provides rich detail and context, and EHRs allow for efficient, standardized, and accessible documentation across care teams. Together, these methods provide a well-rounded picture of the patient's condition and treatment, ensuring that no important detail is missed. Ultimately, EHR stood out as the preferred documentation method due to its ability to enhance coordination, ensure accuracy, and promote patient privacy and safety. If you have any questions, please contact us at the following emails. And these are our references. Thank you.